Hello there, I'm Deadpool. Welcome to this breakdown of the newest Mutant Mayhem trailer. I would just like to warn you, I have never done this before. I've never made a YouTube type breakdown thing before. So if the editing in this is bad or hastily put together, that's why. I also want to note that I'm on vacation right now and don't have my mic on me. So the audio probably is not going to be the best on this, so I just want to warn you with that. And I'll probably be swearing a bit in this, so if you're uncomfortable with that, I'd recommend clicking off. I'll try to keep it to a minimum, but sometimes a few just slip out. But yeah, let's get this started before this ends up like an hour long, because I tend to ramble. So I'll basically just be Pat pausing my way through this, or I'll be going frame by frame. So I'm just going to be, basically be watching the trailer, but it's going to be stretched out a lot, because I'm not going to unpause it. I'm just going frame by frame and pointing out the small details I notice and predicting what might happen in the movie. I have consumed almost every single TMNT media in existence, so I will be using that prior knowledge to try to figure out what this movie might be about. And we'll see how much I get right, I guess. Okay, without further ado, let's get this started. So, we start out, obviously, with the turtles opening up. And they're starting to fight and stuff. Blah blah blah, new trailer starts. Okay, we see they're fighting on a pool table and stuff, and I saw poker and stuff earlier, so I assume this is going to be, what was it, in the teaser that we saw, the guys were like, I think they're little Shreks to me or whatever, so I think it's just going to be what happens after that. Raph saying that he's awesome. That's very in character of him. I love the way they characterize him. Yeah, Mayhem. We see them doing parkour, as they do. Nothing too interesting here. I'm assuming there's going to be Easter eggs scattered all about. I love the way that New York actually looks like it's lived in, unlike 2012 and some parts of 03 where it looks just completely empty. It's funny, but kind of depressing at the same time, because that's something Rise did really well, that New York is actually crowded as hell, and it's awesome. I don't see anything too interesting here. This is just showing off the animation, which looks awesome, by the way. Looks like they're at a pier, I assume Hudson. I love all their stances. Leo just constantly looks super stiff, and that's in character. It looks like Raph is in fact the tallest out of all of them. I initially thought that Mikey might have been the tallest, but he just slouched, but I guess Raph is the tallest. I don't know if that's an animation error or the lighting or something, but Raph's bandana strand looks purple there for some reason. It's probably the lighting. I don't know. Again, nothing too interesting. Looking in the background here, nothing. It doesn't look like any Easter eggs or anything. I love Jackie Chan as Splinter. I know it's a bit controversial, but I personally just love Jackie Chan, so, you know. We saw this in the teaser. Raph using Leo's katana for some reason. you know. They're all excited. I love the way that Donnie's glasses actually move when he moves. It just seems super dynamic and so lifelike. Leo is apparently a terrible liar when it comes to Splinter, and is a snitch. I don't know what's so wrong about getting pizza. I guess risking seeing humans, but we're also running errands, so would that not risk being seen by humans either? I don't know. There's, again, Donnie's glasses are moving, and I love it. The rat joke. Come on, Mikey, it's 2023. You can't be saying that. I love Splinter in this. He clearly has a lot of character in this, which will be fun. It looks like he has his #1 dad mug right there, so it'll be fun. Again, I love all their stances. Leo looks super stiff. Donnie looks just like he's leaning on whatever is there, you know? That's fun. It looks like you can see some equipment in the back there. It looks like one of those punching bag things up right next to Don's head. You can see some posters and stuff too, what's probably different boxers and everything. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Rocky reference, but that's more of a Philly thing. What else? Yeah, Paramount, of course. Nick. You got the sewer manhole cover, which is a classic. I love how we'll be just seeing them being dumb, like Mikey just jumping on top of Raph right there. And they're teenagers, you know, they're kids. This is how they're gonna act. Mikey asking what the others would want to do if they weren't seen as monsters. Which, you know, that's a valid question considering they're teenagers that grew up isolated from the rest of the world under one of the busiest cities in the world for 15-ish years. I'm assuming they're 15 because that's how old they usually are. I haven't been checking for this, but I haven't been able to see the 6 that was previously on Raph's shoulder. So perhaps they might have gotten rid of it. I don't know if they did. Maybe it wasn't even supposed to be there in the first place, because there were some theories going around that the 6 on his shoulder would indicate that it's like a brand, kind of, that he's the 6th version of something, and that could indicate 6 turtles. And slight spoiler alert for IDW, like the comics, there are technically like 4 other turtles, but 2 main ones are Venus and Jenica. So who knows, maybe they'll tease those 2. We've never seen Jenny in any iteration outside the comics before, and we all know the last time we saw Venus, so she definitely deserves a second chance. We already saw this in the teaser. You gotta love Mikey's braces. They definitely, I don't know how they did. Like, did Don just look it up on YouTube or something? I don't know. It's funny either way. I love that they're sharing a room in this iteration. I guess that shows how small their lair is this time around. Who knows if their lair is going to get destroyed, because in many iterations, their first one gets destroyed. Like in the original Mirage comics and in 03, literally the first thing that happens is that their lair gets destroyed by mousers. So I wonder if that will happen here. Raph wants to go to school. That's wholesome. Leo wants a girlfriend. Of course he does. They're awake at 3 a.m. That sounds about right for a teenager. We see posters in the background for Rio. We see some Japanese. I could read it if it zooms out a bit more. We'll see if I can read that Japanese in the top right corner. Their room looks great. I love all the stickers everywhere and everything, and how each turtle has like their own section with their own posters and decorations and stuff. I love Don's tent. That sounds about right for him. I would have to like zoom in a lot to see anything interesting. I know the quality is bad in this, but I did notice on the right side, like near the center, there's a paper there with all of their names on it and a bunch of tally marks. So I assume it's like kind of like the mission chart in Rise, you know, where they all count like their attendance or something. Or maybe it's a stupid bet. I don't know. I love that Don's computer is inside his tent. I don't know how that works, like when it comes to outlets and stuff. I don't know. I also don't know what his wallpaper is. I assume it's some anime. I don't recognize it. It could be... No, it's not Gojo's Infinity. It doesn't look like it. I don't know what it is. I'm assuming they're going to have a lot of Jujutsu Kaisen references in this just because they have the rights to it, so why not? Man, he should really organize his desktop. Who organizes it like that? Come on, Don. I'm also noticing they're sleeping in their masks, which, okay, that's a choice. And Donnie without his glasses looks a lot like Leo, surprisingly. So, that's a cool detail. I don't know. I wonder what he's reading. Probably some kind of manga, because he's a weeb. There's a storm drain. This we saw in the teaser, them exiting the sewers. Wow, they got to that rooftop really quickly. Not gonna question it. We saw this in the teaser as well. Can skip all of this. Oh, we get to see more of April, which is fun. Of course, the joke of saying Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle in a weird, different way, like refusing to say the words Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. There's this scene from the beginning of the trailer again. Looks like Donnie's using one of the pool sticks instead of his bow staff here. I wonder where his bow staff went. The Chinese food scattering about everywhere. Like he looks so excited to slam his nunchucks into this dude's face. Man. It looks like they might have recorded the fight or something, because, I don't know, they're very excited over something. More talking about who they are and stuff. Donnie trying to say that their dad is not a rat, but then basically saying their dad is a rat. That's funny. The fact that Leo eats this entire slice of pizza in one bite is insane. I don't know how that works physically. That's a lot of pizza in one bite. Yeah, so clearly they're all really bad at lying, which is funny. I mean, I guess this is the first human they've actually met, so they don't really know what to do, you know? Man, we are not even halfway through this trailer, and we're at like more than 10 minutes. Okay, I need to stop just talking. From permanent teenager Seth Rogen, I wish he would stop calling himself that. I hate that he's calling himself a permanent teenager. It's kind of cringy. Okay, so now they're talking about Superfly, who is the big bad of this movie. And it looks like they're putting some kind of bombs on this truck, but that's a human hand putting bombs on this truck as they talk about Superfly, which is really interesting because, it's supposed to be a mutant, right? So why is it a human hand there? And then it blows up. It looks like some kind of, prisoner transport or something. I'm not sure. So, this mystery person might be breaking someone out. But there's also, this green glow afterwards, which makes me think of the ooze, of course. So, maybe whoever this mystery person is trying to get his or her hands on the ooze. And that is an ice cream truck being flung, or it's not being flung, it's being flown away by Superfly. Who knows what he needs with an ice cream truck? NYPD chasing after them. And then it cuts over to them in this back room area in the school. And it's just April investigating, trying to figure out who this Superfly person is. See, who is Superfly? The fact that the question is literally written out there makes me, I have a theory based on, past iterations and stuff. I'm pretty sure I know who Superfly is, but, we'll get to that. He kills everyone who sees him. And they're all, sick. As any teenager would do. That is pretty sick. But not really, because, it's killing people. Mikey doing his little spin around the chair. That's funny. April saying, no, it is not cool. Why are you saying it's cool? People are dying. And Rap's like, it's a little cool. Rap doesn't really have much of a filter in this, and it's funny. We see them doing a bunch of somersaults onto the pipes. I don't know how that's physically possible. I guess they can jump super high. Good for them. Donnie is voicing his plan about catching Superfly and then becoming famous because they catch him. Like Scooby-Doo style. So, I love how they're drawn. It looks like kind of the Mirage comics, the way their heads are shaped, and it's so funny. So, they get the key to the city from the mayor, I guess. And then they go to school, yay! I love how whoever drew this drew 6-packs on them. And I love how Mikey is doing finger guns, but it looks like he's just flipping everyone off. It's so funny, man. They really just want to go to school. Imagine. So, what I assume is they set up this ambush type thing to meet up with Superfly, saying hey, we want to be part of your team, or something. And Superfly's like, okay, meet me underneath the Brooklyn Bridge. So this is what they're doing now. Again, I assume there's going to be a bunch of small Easter eggs in the background of all of these scenes. Because they're all dynamic scenes, it's really hard to see the text on the signs and stuff. This car looks so badass. I love these kinds of cars. And it looks like the license plate says Superfly. Superfly without the R. which is funny. We saw this in the teaser, Bebop and Rocksteady. Then of course we get Superfly. And they're all shocked. Like, no way. It's a bunch of mutants. And what I find interesting about the Superfly is, maybe I can increase the quality on this. I can't. Nice. Anyway, it looks like Superfly has hair. That's important. Keep that in mind for later. And so they're all shocked. Like, holy shit. There are other mutants. Oh, here. You can see the hair a lot better there. So, there's our boy Ice Cube talking. Yes, there are turtles, and Dawn is just shocked, like, no way. There are mutants, like, besides us. That's crazy. And then we get the money shot of these, I'm just going to call them the Mutanimals right now. I know they're not the Mutanimals. I don't really know what else to call them. We got Genghis Frog. Like, going left to right, we got Genghis Frog, Weatherhead, Bebop, Superfly, Rocksteady, Man Ray. I don't know who that cockroach dude is, so I'm going to call him. I don't remember. I don't remember the cockroach dude's name from 2012. We got Mondo Gecko and we got Wingnut. Yeah, that's cool. Here's the cockroach dude again. He sounds really weird. I guess he's like kind of the Pigeon Pete of the group. He's not the brightest. They're all freaked out by him. Raph is just really grossed out. I assume they're going to bring back his fear of bugs in this. I hope they do, because that's such a fun detail that he has. And in this, the Mutanimals, quote-unquote Mutanimals, are talking about how humans are never going to accept mutants. And it's really interesting that it cuts away from the turtles being all grossed out to humans being grossed out. So, obviously we're going to see parallels that where they assume Superfly is going to be all like, why are you protecting humans if they're never going to accept you, you know? And then the turtles are going to have a whole with great power comes great responsibility type thing. More Bebop and Rocksteady. Oh wait, I think this is when he's talking about how humans aren't going to accept them. We get a better look at Superfly. He looks super cool. He's strong, apparently. He literally crushes a fire hydrant just like that. That's pretty strong. And then we see some ooze, which is interesting. And it's dropping into these tubes. Okay, so these tubes are like the baby versions of the Mutanimals. We see the cockroach dude on the left. We see Mondo Gecko, Rocksteady, Bebop. And what's interesting is in the background we see a human. Now we know Baxter Stockman is in this movie, right? And I want you to take notice of the hair again. Remember Superfly's hair. We know based on like prior iterations that Baxter Stockman tends to turn into a fly. So my current theory is that Baxter, from what we know, is a teacher at April's school. And he's probably super disrespected because teenagers are super mean like that. So I assume he just wants power and respect, and he can get that as his alter ego Superfly. So he's putting together a team that he can lead, you know? So, yeah, see, the hair is like exactly the same. So, I'm like 95% sure Superfly is Baxter, so I'm just gonna start calling him Baxter from now on. And then we see Godzilla Superfly, who looks like an amalgamation of a bunch of different animals. for some reason. So I assume, like, what I'm guessing is going on here is that Stockman thought he had control over the ooze as he continuously mutated and demutated himself. But he does not actually have enough, like, complete control over it, and he accidentally turns himself into this thing. And this, I assume, is going to be, like, the final battle. Ew, I just noticed, like, there's, like, frog hands on his left arm shaking. It's kind of gross. Times Square, you have, of course, the mandatory Times Square shot. We have Paul Rudd as Mondo Gecko. I love it. I'm glad he doesn't sound like Ant-Man. I was so scared he would just sound like Ant-Man. And of course we have, like, Man Ray and Bebop. Man Ray looks like he has one eye for some reason. Very interesting. Others, like, we did not expect this. You know? Just a bit confused. But, you know, in a happy way. Of course we have Genghis Frog. It's cool to see him again. August 2nd, of course. We're all happy they moved the release date earlier. More parkouring. I'm surprised we didn't get, like, the Mirage shot, you know? With the first Mirage cover. I hope we do see that at some point in the movie, though. We saw this image earlier. Was it last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that? This is interesting. Okay, so obviously we have Stockman Superfly hitting the gear or something, but he's using his right hand for that. Whereas later we see that his right hand is in fact, we'll see. We'll get there. Here it is, yeah. His right hand is a claw. So I don't know how he has a hand back there and a claw later on. I don't know if that's just a mistake or if I'm looking way too, like, far into this. I'm probably looking too far into it. Stockman breaks into their van, and I'm assuming this is going to happen way later in the movie because it looks like they have some kind of device in the back of the van, which I assume either Don built or they stole from Stockman. And I'm only saying that because Stockman ends up flying away with it later. You'll see. He punches Raph. They go flying off of this bridge. Yeah, see, Stockman is flying away with that device that was in the back of the van, so I assume they just stole it. Leo falls. It looks like he has a grenade or something in his hand. I'm not too sure. This is an interesting shot. So these, like, military grade cars have TCRI written on the front. At first I thought it was going to be the EPF, the Earth Protection Force, but apparently it's TCRI. So that means Utroms, Krang. And I assume that person on the green, like, TV screen in the back is what was her name? Cynthia Utrom or something? She's going to be in this movie. I assume it's going to be less of a big bad villain and more of a teaser for what comes after the movie. Because having two big villains in this seems like a lot to fit into 90 minutes. I don't know. But if these are Utroms, these are very realistic looking suits, you know? Like, they just look normal. I assume... So, if Baxter is Superfly, I assume he stole the ooze from TCRI, right? And so I assume TCRI wants to get that ooze back. So that's what they will be doing. They're trying to capture the mutants, I guess, to get everything under control. Or maybe they're working with the Earth Protection Force, and these are Earth Protection Force people. I'm not sure, but it looks like the mutants, like the turtles, get captured by TCRI. Then we have Splinter talking about how Mikey's the heart of the team. Donnie has the wisdom. I love how he's thinking super creatively when it comes to his fighting style. Like, that's super cool. I wonder what song this guy is listening to, and if it's a real song. Raph is the bravery of the team, and of course Leo has the honor, because we still have to remember they're Ninja Turtles. And super badass shot right there. And then the mandatory funny at the end of Raph just being completely psychotic, apparently, which is funny as hell. And that's about it. We get one more shot of Superfly Godzilla just destroying all of New York City. And we get an explosion. It looks like this iteration they can't go into their shells, because I assume they would have gone into their shells if they could have, to protect themselves from this explosion. And oh yeah, we got badass Dawn right here. Shifting this into gear, I love it. He's trying to act so cool, and it's amazing. And looks like Mikey's about to jump out, and then this clip is not the same, like it doesn't come after the previous ones, just because Mikey has a black eye in this for some reason. Who knows? I don't know how they got. I think this might be right after the fight in the garage. Who knows? And that's the end of the trailer. Wow, that took half an hour. Okay, yeah, I apologize for that being so unbelievably long. I didn't think I thought it would take like 10-15 minutes max, but I guess this would count as my full breakdown. There's no point in making a thread if I have a half an hour video. Yeah, if you're still watching this, thanks for watching. Again, I'm sorry for the poor audio and editing quality. I did not expect to do this. I've never done this before, so, yeah. Be sure to, I don't know, tell me what you thought of the trailer, your predictions, what you're excited for and stuff, because I love hearing what other people think. And yeah, I'll see you all later then.